the treble-chasing Sheffield Steelers for a place in the 1996 playoff final. Your commentators for this first championship semi-final, Bob Correll and first Tony Millard.
Arguably the biggest day for many of these players in their ice hockey history. They come to an arena here that has been built for ice hockey back in 1934. So they've been playing hockey here for 62 years. A marvellous occasion for the Humberside Hawks in white, the Sheffield Steelers in the dark colours. Hawks line up with the players etched in yellow, their starting six. John Wolfe in goal. Mike Bishop, of course, their big and influential captain. Ian Pound and Barclay Pearce, who started the season with Milton Keynes, both of them. Cam Plant, who leads the assists with 14 so far in the playoffs. Graham Garden, who bangs in the goals. Mark Hazelhurst sometimes racks up the penalties. And, of course, Derek Laxdal, well, he is a key man in this Humberside lineup. For Sheffield Steelers, already, of course, winners of the Benson and Hedges Cup. And they've won the league as well. Wayne Cowley starts in goal. Tim Cranston, of course, Turbo Tim, they call him. Ken Priestley and Steve Nemeth, who bang in the goals regularly between them. Nicky Chin, who's in his third successive appearance at Wembley, having appeared for Cardiff twice already. Tony Hand is in his 81st playoff game here this afternoon, and Chris Kelland has appeared at Wembley. This is his 18th game, a Wembley record. The referee is Simon Kirkham, who comes from Leicester. He works in newspaper distribution. Alex Dampier, of course, is the Sheffield coach, and he is a man who can motivate teams of any quality. Keith Milhench, in charge of Humberside Hawks, took over for the start of the playoffs and has certainly played his part in bringing them to Wembley. Just about a face-off here. Wembley Arena is alive. It's a wall of sound, and alongside me now is Bob Correll. Bob, you've played your part here. What's so special about this?
Well, it's a series, if you like, that everybody looks forward to all season long. You know that if you get to Wembley, you can put a nice sort of finish onto your season. But once you get here, boy, you want to work real hard to win.
Well, the icing call will immediately take play right up to the Humberside defensive zone. And a little line here, if we have a look closely, all the Humberside players are wearing beards. It's a shade of superstition, bar Andy Steele, I think, that they started growing them 4 weeks ago, and they said they won't shave them off until they've won the playoffs or lost, as the case may be. A superstition in ice hockey. Puck cleared up the ice, and I think we'll get an icing call now. We'll take it down to the Sheffield zone, Sheffield defensive zone, and Wayne Cowley's going to have to be alert for this. The team narrow the surface here, Bob.
It is. Team's not taking any chances. If that puck's going into their own defensive zone, as we see, get the puck off the boards, outside into neutral ice territory, ice the puck if you have to, but just stay out of trouble.
Well, how's the feeling? Perhaps nerve ends jangling a bit, and Keith Milhench has to motivate his team to stop those nerves, and I think the first goal might be battle. Face off there for Humberside. It's eased back by Longstaff for Sheffield. Round behind the net, Nicky Chin is 13. He can't clear the danger. But this man does. Tim Cranston, great skating there. Cranston regains possession. Gets it wide. In goes the shot from Nicky Chin. Knocked away there by John Wolfe. Comes out of the edge of the defensive zone, but eventually it's Humberside that clear it. Good work, Chris Eimers, the Dutch-Canadian. Puck locked down by Darcy Cahill. We're going to get a penalty call here, and there's going to be the first power play of the game going the way of the Humberside Hawks.
Simon Kirkham trying to take control of this game. Temper's starting to flare a little bit early. David Longstaff, he's going to sit 2 minutes in this situation. That probably started down in the offensive zone, but Longstaff coming back into the play there, just knocking his man over, and Humberside are on the power play.
So David Longstaff sitting in the box, the first man to go there this time for tripping. We've only been playing just a minute. It's all happening here at Wembley. Misplaced pass there, allowing Sheffield a slight breather, but big Mike Bishop is number 4 for Humberside in possession behind his own net. Our power play clock counting down. It's Sheffield at short-handed, the power play in favour of Humberside in the whites, and over a minute and a half of that still to run. To see if Humberside were to score, then the Sheffield man David Longstaff would come back on the ice. Collected by Mike Bishop, fires it into the corner. They're going to chase. Barclay Pearce is round behind it to pick up possession, number 16. Out to point. Here's Bishop with a powerful shot kicked away by Wayne Cowley in the Sheffield nets. Puck cleared right up the ice, and Cam Plant, number 22, is going to collect that for Humberside, who are changing on the fly. Things beginning to move quickly here. Steve Nemeth breaking up. Could be a short-handed goal for Sheffield. Good work by Mike Bishop for Humberside. Nemeth wins it back. Here comes Sheffield. And short, in goes the shot. Knocked away. The rebound comes out. Somehow John Wolfe didn't hold on to that, but here comes Humberside. Cahill moving into the zone and collecting the puck there, and the shot on, knocked down by Wayne Cowley, who's going to kill that dead and stop the rebound.
Sheffield not allowing the Humberside Hawks to get a lot of confidence coming out of their zone. They're pushing their defensive players right up, almost inside the Humberside blue line, saying, we're not letting you out of here so easy. Just about a shorthanded goal for the Sheffield Steelers as they forecheck on the penalty kill.
47 seconds remaining on this penalty. That's the power play in favour of the Humberside Hawks. Sheffield Steelers fans already mounting a crescendo of noise here in the Wembley Arena. Well, there's a problem down here with the floodlight, or the floodlight reflecting off the ice and causing problems, and that's what's causing the delay. All sorts of distractions here, Bob.
Goaltenders are certainly concerned about things like that.
Well, it's the goaltender. I think Wayne Cowley has complained about the reflection, and that's causing problems. Giving problems here, reflection of the bright lighting here, and it's coming straight back off what looks like a wet piece of ice, and Wayne Cowley says, well, that's straight in my vision.
It is. The biggest problem is the goaltenders can lose sight of the puck. If you lose sight of the puck, obviously, you know, you can get a bit of a mishap and an unfortunate goal scored against you, so they want to solve these sort of little problems early on in the game so there's no distinct advantage for either side.
Well, away we go. I think they've solved the problem, and we've got the face-off. It's Phil Huber that's going to try and win it for Humberside Hawks. We're still with the power play, 45 seconds to go. And Humberside mounting an attack here. Oh, desperately close as that puck was worked round and out in front of the net. But here comes Tony Hand for Sheffield, number 16. His 81st playoff game in British ice hockey. The danger cleared and time running down on the power play. This is big Ian Pound, number 6 for Humberside. Bruce Bell is to his left, experienced NHL player. Pound firing the puck into the corner, around the boards to Chris Eimers. Held up, Chris Kellen for Sheffield is 21. Humberside, if they can get it to point, but that comes out loose, and once again on the break, here comes Sheffield. This is Tim Cranston. In the end, the puck finishing up in the net from Tim Cranston. There may be some dispute about that, but Tim Cranston has put the Steelers in front and opened the scoring effectively with a short-handed goal before Longstaff came back on the ice.
Very big goal for the Steelers. Watch Cranston just drive for that net. Just takes a bit of a funny bounce there right off of Ian Pound, but it crosses the goal line and it's going to count. Drives for the net, Tim Cranston. He's been man of the match in the last 2 Wembleys for his team. He's a big game player.
One has the impression that perhaps Ian Pound there got in the way of his own goaltender, John Wolfe, as Cranston came forward.
Well, sometimes you get the unfortunate break. I would have had to have said that. That just rebounded off him a bit and went in the back of the net. Tough grind, big goal for Sheffield to start this game off.
And disappointment for Humberside Hawks, who of course had the man advantage at the time, but now both teams are level pegging. It's Humberside Hawks 0, Sheffield Steelers 1, with Turbo Tim Cranston putting them in front. The 5th goal for him in the playoffs this year. Effectively, the goal, Bob, must count as short-handed because the man was just coming out of the penalty box. He wasn't really on the ice.
Just coming out of the penalty box, and I know that our statistician Gordon Wade, he would say because that player is out of the play, that's a short-handed goal.
We know who she's supporting and we know who he's directing. That's Alex Dampier, the Sheffield manager. And one has a feeling that the old furrow on his brow is slightly less than it was now.
It's obviously great to get off to a good start, but Alex Dampier and Clyde too will never take anything for granted.
Mike Bishop in possession, firing the puck round the plexiglass. This is Ron Shooter, 26 for Sheffield. 17. Played out, but great skating here, and surely the narrowness of Wembley saw Ian Pound clatter his man into the boards, and that's Kindred coming away. Big hit into the boards, and there's the icing call to take the puck right up the ice.
A lot of great hits early on in this game, boy. Everybody's being physical out there. Because it's a smaller ice surface, look at him take him out of the play. Mr. Kelland isn't going anywheres in that situation.
Hey, pal. Hardly the man you'd like to bang into in a dark night, Ian Pound.
He's a big, strong guy, but mind you, take nothing away from Chris Kelland. He's a veteran, but he's a very strong guy, works very hard at his game off the ice, and he's been in this circumstance for a number of years, and he's a key role player for that Sheffield Steeler club.
Some record, Chris Kelland, 18 Wembley games with 3 different clubs. Humberside, though, trying to win possession deep in the Sheffield zone, but Longstaff forcing the puck out. Eventually fired back in by Phil Huber. Round behind his net, he's going to go Andre Marlowe for Sheffield. This is Huber regaining possession for Humberside. Collected well by Jamie van der Horst. Battle is joined in the neutral zone, but this is Bruce Bell, 3 for Humberside. Darcy Cahill almost clear. Phil Huber with the shot, sails over the bar. Wayne Cowley taps it into the corner. Tough stuff behind the net there with Tim Cranston and Phil Huber involved, but Cranston eventually clears it. There's going to be an icing call to take the face-off back into the Sheffield defensive zone.
All the players finishing their checks off here, especially in their own defensive zone, because they cannot take advantage or afford a player get loose, set up a play, and get that scoring opportunity. Tight defense will be a big key. There it is, guys on guys. Everybody hangs on to one another. No one's letting anybody go. You finish your checks off.
The game is toughening up, and we haven't been playing 5 minutes yet. We know we're in a playoff match at Wembley.
Oh, they are. Each bench is ready, though. They've got 3 strong lines, and the guys will be turning over very quickly. Quick line changes will be a key to keep the guys fresh.
Steve Nemeth having to leave that one, otherwise it would have been a pass out across 2 lines, and Graham Garden, 23 for Humberside, firing it deep in, but this is O'Connor. Great skating there, Priestley with a shot kicked away by John Wolfe in the Humberside nets. Barclay Pearce, great stick work, and surely there'll be a tripping penalty there. No, referee shakes his head to Simon Kirkham, and I think the Hawks might think they were hard done by on that one. Ian Pound trying to force it in. 16 is Tony Hand, record scorer in British ice hockey. Puck fired into the corner. This is Steve Nemeth, number 10. Priestley's to his left, Hands to his right. Rob Wilson knocks it down. Has to delay taking in, but here goes Steve Nemeth. Great work on the blue line from Rob Wilson. Nemeth collects, and another hard hit there, and it's Norman Pennington going in with that one. Both teams changing. Not the crisp passing hockey we might expect to see or hope to see with Bob, but it's tough stuff.
It is. It's very much bump and grind. That ice surface, as we said, a little bit smaller, right? Players with less time to move. Get that puck in the zone. Let's go after it and chase it. Put lots of pressure on the other team's defense.
Cam Plant firing the puck open, looking for Mike Kindred. But the danger cleared out of the defensive zone. And we're going to get a face-off, I think, here for High Sticks.
On your right. Good job, now. Here we go, boys. One shot, one shot.
Well, plenty of people here, 8,000 people in this Wembley arena, and every one of them, I think, is enjoying it already.
They do. They all come together. They have a great time. It's a good weekend, and it's a climax to the ice hockey season, but she's all to play for.
Huber again, trying to win that face-off for Humberside, and a little bit of unpleasantness there, and Ron Schuder's having his say, and I think referee Simon Kirkham is going to sort that out and change a few personnel for that face-off.
It's all about marking your territory, and when you're in your own defensive zone, nobody goes anywhere but where you want them to go, especially if it's your zone.
Humberside can win this. Cam Plant, number 22, down here to our right, waiting back on the blue line. So influential in their course to Wembley. 14 assists during the playoff games. It's quite a record for a defenseman.
He's such a heads-up player, isn't he? And he's a very gifted passer as well. All the controversy deep in the zone there, yeah, Tony? It's very important, because how many times this season have we seen a goal scored off a face-off, I should say? That's why those guys are setting themselves up in there. They want to make sure that they have that little bit of a distinct advantage in case that face-off goes the wrong way.
6.5 minutes gone here at Wembley Arena. They're enjoying it, the Sheffield fans, because it's their team that's in front with Tim Cranston's goal. Humberside Hawks 0, Sheffield Steelers 1. Heavy check in here and a chance here. Scott Neal having a great opportunity, but great defensive work just before he got the shot in. Scott Neal's first piece of ice time, and this is Andre Marlowe for Sheffield. The veteran Chris Kelland is 21 on the puck. Around the plexiglass, and the cover from Cam Plant as Chris Kelland gets forward. Yes, we've got a little problem. Well, he's in the wars, that linesman, because exactly the same gentleman got hit on the shin when we were at Fife last weekend, I think.
Poor guy there. Chris Kelland just coming out of the zone. That little errant puck there, up around, just catches him. That's a difficult one.
For good measure, he's taken into the boards as well.
A lot of controversy for the linesman.
Well, I know they have a plan here, Bob. They do have a spare referee, who's John Moore, who would do the second game. They've 2 spare linesmen here, and so if one of them gets injured, we can, in fact, have a replacement.
If the situation arises, as you say, and the official is unable to continue the game, they will put a replacement official in.
Well, there appears to be a problem, and I think they're calling to bring the Zamboni back in the thing. So let's join Steve James in the studio.
Sitting alongside John Lawless, the coach of the Manchester Storm. You've had plenty of experience here at Wembley. You've had an occasion in the past to remember when you were held up in a game because of a problem with the plexiglass. How much does it disrupt the players?
Well, I don't think it'll disrupt the players in this situation because it's so early in the game. You know, we've only played 6 or 7 minutes. Both teams obviously are well into this game. There's still a lot to play for, but I think if Humberside are going back to the dressing room, or if their coach has an opportunity to talk to them, and say, guys, don't worry. You know, it's only 1-0. Don't lose that confidence or that momentum. It was a lucky goal, and they're going to probably score more goals on us. But let's make sure that, you know, we're still pumped and focused on what we got to do.
The game so far, the first 7 minutes, going very much as you expected?
Yeah, there's not a lot of space or time on the puck. There's a lot of body checks, and you can tell that both teams are aware of it, because if, say, for example, Sheffield's got the puck, and Humberside on 1-0.
So the Sheffield Steelers leading by 1-0. They're clearly very happy with the way things are going so far, and the officials just coming off the ice, those players that are those people that have been clearing that mess up after the injury to the linesman. Let's go back then and rejoin our commentators, Bob Correll and first of all Tony Millard.
Well, we're underway at the moment with just 1 linesman and 1 referee, and sadly Alan Craig has gone to hospital with a damaged tendon, and he will be replaced on the line shortly by Paul Stanisforth, who's in the referee's changing room at the moment. Paul from Billingham. The man who's gone off, Alan Craig, comes from Ayr, but the action is back thick and fast, and there's Mike O'Connor just failing to hold the puck in the attacking zone, and Darcy Cahill and David Longstaff battling for it. Cahill wins possession to Huber. Across the ice, and Nicky Chin it is that gains possession. Here comes Mike O'Connor. That's Nicky Chin. Big hit from Mike Bishop. Chin regaining possession, but sadly for him and his team just in front of the action and making him just offside.
Momentum perhaps changing a little bit. Sheffield getting that early goal, you know, but when you have a little bit of a lull in play, it sort of nullifies everything, and it's important, you know, that both teams come out with the same intensity that they did when they started that game.
One must look Sheffield presumably on the higher to goal up. Will the rest have harmed their more Humberside in their will to fight back?
Well, it gives Humberside an opportunity to regroup, you know. I mean, they're certainly not out of this game by any stretch of the imagination, and they've just got to come to grips with their situation, perhaps calm down and settle a territory out.
This is Priestley. Tony Hand is 16. Good work over Steve Nemeth, almost a surprise shot, and Hand fires one in. That sails up into the netting behind the goal. And the first serious chance of the game for Tony Hand, who's been so prolific. This today, we've said before, his 81st game in the playoffs.
He's such a big game player as well, you know, and I mean, you have to give him credit because he's in the right situation at the right time for that big shot. He wanted to go upstairs, it just went over the top of the net.
And it's Tony Hand there, who's yes, on the losing side then with 7 goals. Quite an achievement, Tony Hand. I'm sure he'd be determined not to do that here this afternoon. Almost skating on the puck there. Cam Plant comes back to point here. Jamie van der Horst firing it round. They'll learn to look to get it back here again to van der Horst. Can he get the shot away? Does, just wide, and sails up, and they're going to take that face-off outside the Humberside zone, and that'll give them a little bit of a breather.
A little bit of added pressure there by Sheffield, especially deep in the offensive zone. Moving that puck around so well, adding support to one another. That's what's getting Humberside into trouble. That coming back to Jamie van der Horst, a bit of a deflection there, puts that up over the plexiglass, but constant pressure by the Sheffield Steelers.
Trying to mount the pressure again. Ron Shudra battling in that face-off with David Standing, but Standing winning it for Humberside. Getting it back there to big Mark Hazelhurst behind his own net. Mike Kindred. Good skating here from Standing. The trailer is Pennington. Shot knocked away by Cowley. Fired into the corner by Mike Bishop. Hits the plexiglass from Cowley, but enough to clear the danger. This is Mike O'Connor, 17. Bishop firing it in, but a chance here. Ron Shudra on the break. Men all round him, though, from Humberside. He's going to struggle to make space here, but somehow does. This is Mike Kindred. Puck into the corner. David Standing is chasing it, but Mike O'Connor's going to get there first for Sheffield. That's Scotty Neal, number 8. The man that's lost his helmet is Mike O'Connor. Bishop with a shot. This is Tim Cranston, scorer of the goal for Sheffield. On the move. Darcy Cahill. Humberside not being allowed to settle. One has the impression perhaps Sheffield just have that little more time on the puck.
They do. They've got some key players, you know, with a little bit of experience, you know, and they try and exploit those situations because if you get that little bit of extra time, you can do that much more with it.
Rob Wilson nearly knocking the head of John Wolfe off, and how he saw that one to catch it and knock it away, I don't know. That was some shot from Rob Wilson.
There's a little bit of a scenario about that. A lot of coaches will say to their players, guys, get those shots in early and get them a little high and get that goaltender mixed up a little bit. So he's just a bit unsure of what's going to happen to him as it comes in next. Watch for that next shot to go right along the ice.
Well, last night John Wolfe spent at Wembley Stadium next door watching the Greyhounds. I should think that was a bit more peaceful than that. Knocked down by Marlowe. Shot taking a deflection. Huber's going in front. A chance here. The offside call is only marginal as Phil Huber puts it in, but it's disappointment for Humberside. And what a bundle away to our right. All the players bar Wayne Cowley are in there. And the officials are going to have to sort that one out. There was no goal. The puck was put into the net, but the break was a fractional offside decision, and that's really what's caused the problem. Because it was a great move by Humberside, but only fractionally, and I'm sure we'll have a chance to see a replay in a minute of exactly why that was offside, because it was only just.
Here comes the pass coming out of the zone. And there's Phil Huber just in the far side of the screen. He's just offside, but the whistle was blown by the official very early in that situation. Huber continued on and put the puck in the net. That's what the disruption's all about. Players do not like that, especially goalkeepers.
Well, we've got penalties galore being called here, and the penalty boxes down in front of us are certainly going to be overloaded. Referee Simon Kirkham is talking to both captains here, and he's having words with Nicky Chin in front of us. All sorts of things going on down here. Well, we have two coincidental penalties are being called here by referee Simon Kirkham, which means there'll be a full complement for each side out on the ice, but certainly pain suffered by Sheffield rather more than Humberside.
Well, that's it. You know, the guys get in, they stand up for their goalkeeper, but 2-minute calls all the way around by Simon Kirkham. Coincidental minor penalties. And there'll still be 5 guys on the ice playing. Bill Huber just going in offside there. The whistle was blown at this stage, but he continued on to put it into the net. Look at the controversy there. Look at Wayne Cowley. He's not very happy at all, only because that puck went into the net. It's a bit of a psychological thing.
I'm not sure that Wayne Cowley knew at the time that the offside whistle had blown, but he'll be pleased with that.
Well, the thing was, I mean, he never really sort of tried for that puck, if you like. He let Huber just go ahead and do it. So that's when he knew, you know, that the offside was in fact intact and it was being called.
Well, certainly we've seen plenty of action in the first 10 minutes of actual play. And the Humberside men there sitting in the box, they're cooling down and having a drink. Well, Jamie van der Horst and Nicky Chin are in the box for Sheffield, and Ian Pound and Phil Huber in the box for Humberside Hawks. All the penalties called for roughing, and both teams remain with 5 outskaters.
That's very fair. Simon Kirkham doing a great job there. He's going to let the players play. There's some contribution. The temper's starting to flare a little bit, but keep all the guys on the ice. A very distinct advantage. Nothing there. Both teams even strength again.
Well, we've now got 2 linesmen on the ice, which is helping out Simon Kirkham, who for a while was having the battle with just 1 assistant. Paul Staniforth, the taller of the 2 from Billingham, and Gordon Pirrie is there from Ayr alongside Mr. Kirkham from Leicester. They've sorted it out, we're underway, and now we've been playing just 10.5 minutes, and still Sheffield lead by a goal to 0. Tim Cranston's effort counting to separate the sides. Bruce Bell is number 3 in possession, an experienced defenseman for Humberside. Firing the puck out of the defensive zone, but it's not back, and they're going to come away again. Men in white from Humberside Hawks. Graham Gardner's going to chase this round behind the net. Chris Kellen seemed to hook him down outside of the officials. But here's a chance, a 2-on-1 situation. Nemeth is this side, a chance completely missed. Priestley's pass, and Nemeth didn't get on the end of that. That was a great chance for Sheffield to get a second there. And quite how it didn't work out as a goal, well, Bob, I'm not sure.
Both of them in there, 2-on-0 on the goalkeeper. A little bit of pressure, and Priestley in that situation, he opted out.
Priestley again this time, and this time Wolf is equal to it with that hot left catching hand.
John Wolf, when he sees the puck, he's got such quick reflexes that very rarely will he ever make a misfortune. There's Ken Priestley just over the blue line with that big cannon of a slap shot. John Wolf sees that all the way.
The last couple of minutes, Sheffield certainly finding some gaps in that Humberside defence.
They've got experienced players that when they can find that space, they can certainly do some things with a puck. They play very, very well in traffic.
Well, we've got more problems here with the constructions at Wembley, and problems down the penalty box in front of us, but I think the officials are going to sort it out. It's where we had the bit of rough stuff. I think the plexiglass has got damaged, where we saw about 11 players up against it down to our right. It was, and we're going to get some attention to it, I think.
The plexiglass is just slotted in, if you like, and it just seems to have fallen away right at the bottom there. but it's important that the officials sort that out, because if anybody hits that or whatever, somebody certainly could be injured.
Well, we've got Ron Shooter trying to play the handyman there and effect his own repairs. Well, ice hockey has been played at Wembley here since 1934, Bob, and modern techniques, but they've sorted that out, and Ron Shooter and Mike O'Connor, I think it was, provided the handyman job there, and it's all solved. The plexiglass is back in place.
We speak so often about Ron Shooter's hand-eye coordination. Well, that's it to its fullest. There you are. Let's get this plexiglass back into place, and let's get back at it.
Do they work as a part-time pair in the summer? Shooter and O'Connor, handymen. This is Wilson. O'Connor with him. Good pass out from Cranston. Chance for a break there for David Longstaff. Touch of elbows there, and Mr. Longstaff wasn't too popular among the men at the back for Humberside. Cam Plant firing it into the corner. Got a big Kindred chasing it. Puck comes out of the zone, going round the boards quite quickly. Curb at the bottom of the barriers here at Wembley. O'Connor in possession, clearing the danger. Flicked out by Shooter, trying to find Longstaff. Good stick handling by the 21-year-old. Sheffield certainly having the better of play here so far, out shooting Humberside Hawks by 8 shots to 3. Marginal offside call at the moment on the blue line. Percentage scoring then for Humberside, of course, without a goal, but 1 goal in 8 shots is 12% for Sheffield Steelers, and they're superior. They lead by 1-0. Tim Cranston, the scorer.
Although it was a shorthanded goal, Sheffield Steelers have certainly turned the tables around, and they've had the majority of play since that power play opportunity by the Hawks earlier on in the game.
This time trying to break that deadlock, and there's a little bit of a set piece going on here, but that's going to allow Sheffield on the break here. This is Steve Nemeth checking back as Humberside cover, and in the end there, well, the impound is equal to that. Mike Bishop too. Humberside certainly being level-headed at the back, and sometimes I think, Bob, when they're going forward, they're trying to break over this blue line, get a man in behind that Sheffield defence.
They are. They're playing a man high at certain instances in this game, but more importantly, to try and create, if you like, a 2-on-1 situation against Sheffield's defensemen. Just a little bit of an advantage.
Nemeth and Precy with their shots just off target and bouncing back off the boards. And certainly Sheffield are beginning to get the pace of the skirting board around the bottom here. It's going to be gauging where that puck is going to come back. Going to be an icing call here, which will return the puck deep into the Humberside defensive zone.
I think it's also important to say the Sheffield Steelers feel quite comfortable in a situation like this. They've been at Wembley before, they've been champions, but more importantly, week in and week out, what do? They play in front of crowds of 9,000 and 10,000 people, and that can be a bit instilling on a player if they're not used to that all the time.
Already 2 trophies to their name, which must enable them to relax a little bit. They're in the Europa Cup anyway.
They are, you know, but the season is capped off by the Wembley finish, and these guys are working very, very hard to try and achieve that triple crown.
John Wolfe kicking that away as Sheffield threatened to run right territorially. The puck spending much of the time deep in the Humberside defensive zone. But here they come, bringing it out. This is Bruce Bell, shot over the bar. Cowley has to be careful as that comes back off the plexiglass, kills it dead for the face-off to his right. They've come here from all over the country, and they're determined to enjoy their weekend at Wembley. Special weekend for the players as well as the fans, though.
Everybody gets together, they have a good time, enjoy themselves, and get an opportunity to see London a little bit as well. But it's a good fun weekend, and it's a good family sport.
That's an icing call to take the puck deep down to the Sheffield end, and at the moment goals few and far between, just the one with just over 6 minutes of the first period remaining. The man who scored it was Tim Cranston, effectively a short-handed goal, and Sheffield at the moment are just the happier of the two sides.
This ice is holding up very, very well under the circumstance, keeping in mind we've got a lot of people in this building, and they certainly warm the temperature up. but they've managed to get an additional plant to keep that temperature back down, and I think that's going to help the conditions.
Tidy clearance, but the Hawks keep it in, and eventually Sheffield clear it, and they're going to regain possession here. This is Rob Wilson right around the barrier. Longstaff collects it, number 15. Back to Rob Wilson. Started the season at Telford, did Rob Wilson, but came back to Sheffield when they're allowed to change their playing staff somewhat with a variation in the qualifications of Canadians. 9 Canadian-born players in this Sheffield side. There's Tim Cranston with a shot. That's just off target there. Eventually the puck dropping down, and Humberside pleased to clear that one out. O'Connor playing it with his hand. Big hit on Kindred on the red line there. Kindred and Chin, 2 big fellows, but a chance here, a 2-on-1 situation, but the shot goes in. John Wolfe eventually doesn't quite know where that is, but blocks it out with his right skate as the puck fell underneath him.
Constant pressure on the forecheck allows this situation, 2-on-1 on the goalkeeper. Bruce Bell there doing a great job to nullify that. David Longstaff, only 1 opportunity. He has Tim Cranston with him, but he has to take the shot away because Bruce Bell cut the angle down so very well. Made his job easy for the goalkeeper.
And David Standing got round behind his goalkeeper, which is rather different from what Ian Pound did when they scored the goal, when he got in front of him and perhaps caused the mistake.
You've got to have a back-checking presence. That's the guy coming back to add support in the defensive zone. This is one thing so good about the Sheffield Steelers side. They're putting a lot of pressure and forechecking so very well, forcing the Humberside defense to come up with that puck and do things not as quickly as maybe they want to.
With just over 5 minutes on the period remaining, Alex Dampier probably the happier of the 2 coaches. Andre Marlowe. This is Tony Hand. Steve Nemeth with a shot high, wide and over the bar. Here comes Humberside. Barkley Pierce is 16. Laxdell is with him, and a great chance. Only just wide of the post, and still chaos reigning there. Good piece of play by Humberside, trying to force it in. This is Tony Hand. Number 9 is Priestley for Sheffield. Out shooting Humberside. This is Marlowe, 22. Ian Pound winning it for Humberside. Graham Garden clearing the danger. Can Tony Hand build from this position? Here he comes. Leading all-time scorer in British ice hockey. Missing out on that one, and the offside call there. Just fractionally on the blue line. Chris Imers in there a shade too quickly.
Nice work, boys. Nice work.
It's great to see Wayne Cowley take advantage of situations as well. He goes ahead, that puck comes into the zone. Watch him as the game progresses. He gets involved, he handles the puck, gives his defense a little bit extra time to move the puck around and out of the zone. He takes little or no opportunity or chance in these situations.
We'll have a look at that goaltending in a moment, Bob, because I have a feeling that the goaltenders can't have great visibility with these barriers, which are anything but white. But there's a chance here, but Cowley sees that one brilliantly. A shot going in from Imers, and Cowley equal to it. Perhaps one of the best chances so far coming the way of Humberside.
Wayne Cowley, there's positional goaltending if we've ever seen it. Look at him stack them up. That guy was going for the top of the net, but he plugged that right up right before it finished off. Humberside, just inside the blue line. They know they've got to get these shots away. That ice surface a little bit smaller here. Every opportunity is a scoring opportunity inside the blue line.
Well, there was some criticism when Sheffield brought in Wayne Cowley in that they had a very good goaltender in Martin Mackay, but certainly it's paid dividends for them having 2 of such quality.
They have, and they counteract one another. They work very, very well together, and I'm sure that Martin Mackay learns from Wayne Cowley, as is the vice versa.
Wayne Cowley, that influential man, Scarborough, Ontario, and 1 game for Edmonton in the NHL. Face-off then, deep in the Sheffield defensive zone. David Standing trying to win it for Humberside. Can they pull this goal back? Just 3.5 minutes remaining. David Longstaff. Good work by him and saved by the pads of Wolf. Big hit there and a little smile from Nicky Chin as he collided with big Mike Bishop. He clears the danger away from behind his own net. There's a little bit of feeling here. I think Longstaff was trying to dump Mike Kindred as well. And there goes Chin again with Pinnington this time. Rob Wilson knocking it down. Chance of a break here, and this is Nicky Chin. And a pass is right across 2 lines, and that's offside as Chin picks that up. And Nicky Chin, his 3rd successive appearance at Wembley. Medal winner with Cardiff, of course.
Nicky Chin possesses so much upper body strength. He works very, very hard at that. That's why you see him go in, and he just basically bowls his way forward, and he drives so well for the net.
A tough character too. This is Cam Plant, 22. So vital in taking Humberside to these playoffs at Wembley. Graham Gardner's going to chase that in, cleared against the plexiglass, but eventually there's a chance here. Steve Nemeth on the break. Great shot from Nemeth, kicked away by Wolf. Tony Hand might have thought that he'd have that on the edge of the crease and get the pass, but Nemeth went for the shot. But there's a chance for Priestley to get goal number 2 for Sheffield. The Yorkshiremen are singing, and Ken Priestley has slotted home his 7th playoff goal of the season to make it Humberside 0, Sheffield 2.
You give the Steelers room, and boy, oh boy, they'll do something with it. All kinds of time there for Stevie Nemeth to set the puck up in the offensive zone. But what a pass by Andrew Mallow to catch Ken Priestley just cutting across the crease area to put that in on a one-timer behind John Wolf. Brilliant pass there by Andre Mallow to give the Sheffield Steelers their 2nd goal.
And here's Marlowe again with Nemeth. Both of them combined to make that assist. And certainly cutting through the Humberside defence like a knife through butter. And now the Sheffield fans are enjoying this as much as their players. Derek Laxdell using skates to clear the danger under pressure from Sheffield. And now the men from Yorkshire are rampant. Goals so far then from Tim Cranston and Ken Priestley, putting them in control. This is Barclay Pearce. Cranston away again. Chin skating with him. Cranston's going to create space to leave it for Chin. Chris Imers is back. Cranston 4 for Sheffield. Round the boards, taken into the boards there by Huber. Puck held up behind the net. Sheffield gaining in confidence here now, Bob.
Oh, and playing so well along the boards. Turbo Tim Cranston, he's just bearing down. He's got that puck the whole time, and he's not going to let anybody have it. But he keeps his body between the player and the puck. He adds that little bit of extra protection that's needed to keep the puck in the zone.
Face-off just outside the Humberside defensive zone. And one has a feeling here that Humberside are going to have to get all their team spirit going in the dressing room during the break to lift them, and Keith Milhenge has some work to do to get them back into this game.
One thing I think that they have to certainly talk about is somehow Sheffield is able to come out of their zone, if you like, unscathed a little bit. Forwards coming free, that puck's popping loose, they're just getting it out of the zone, and you've got 2-on-1 situations. They'll have to nullify those because those create scoring opportunities.
Here comes Bruce Bell for Humberside. Great skating, almost in Wolves' time through that Sheffield defence, with a minute remaining on the period. Tony Hand picks up possession to set his team away. Chris Kelland, forechecking well for Sheffield. Eventually the danger cleared. This is Imers, and coming away here now is Phil Huber. Tries to get by his man. Great check there from Rob Wilson to block the effort, and no space at all for Huber on that one.
That's a true sign of a great defenseman. You have got to take the body all the time. You cannot afford to look at the puck, because what happens? It pops by you and the guy's around you and gets that shot on goal. Take the body.
Tony Hand has Chris Kellen to his left. Bodies falling deep in that Humberside defensive zone. Big hit from Jamie van der Horst on Darcy Cahill, just in the attacking zone there. This is Nicky Chin. Sheffield fans counting the seconds down as Chin starts to move deep into the attacking zone. There goes the hooter to end the period, a period that really belonged to Sheffield Steelers. Goals from Tim Cranston and Ken Priestley have put them on their way. The period was interrupted twice for an injury to the linesman Alan Craig, and then with damage to the plexiglass. But Sheffield came back from it, and despite double coincidental penalties for roughing, goals from Tim Cranston and Ken Priestley have made it Humberside 0, Sheffield 2.
And back to Wembley Arena.
A pound of mistake here, chance for Steve Nemeth for the great goal! Just 10 seconds into the period, Steve Nemeth has made it. Humberside 0, Sheffield 3. Just the start, Humberside didn't want, but for Sheffield, they're singing.
The start of the period and perhaps a little bit of flat-footedness. Taking advantage, though, of that barrier. Look at the rebound come off. Stevie Nemeth just gets those legs moving. He's in alone on John Wolfe, and he puts that in the top corner there. The rebound, boy, you can use those barriers to your advantage if you like. There it is, upstairs.
Time of the goal, 10 seconds of the second period.
So Sheffield leading by 3-0. Humberside Hawks with a mountain to climb. And the puck, one feels, Bob, is coming back off the skirting board. They're almost like off rubber at times.
Well, you know, that's one of the unique characteristics about the building and the facility, you know, and you've got to use that to your advantage. There's all sorts of little things that you can use to try and make your play work a little bit better for you, and Sheffield taking that advantage.
Steve Nemeth there, the scorer of that third goal, just 10 seconds into the period.
You've got to be mentally prepared, don't you, Tony? As soon as that period starts, you've got to get on your game, and they were maybe a little bit flat-footed here, but boy, he was in alone, and he wasn't going to miss that opportunity.
Our camera got nearer to the puck than John Wolfe, I think, for that one. Shot goes in, Humberside come out, but it's knocked straight back in again there, and certainly here, Sheffield looking in control, but Darcy Cahill tries to set Humberside Hawks away as Phil Huber fires the puck around behind the net. This is Andre Marlowe for Sheffield. Cam Plant keeps it in. Great bit of defensive work there by Marlowe. Chris Imers is 25 for Humberside, firing the puck in deep down behind the net. Here goes Darcy Cahill, and Andre Marlowe's back well. Cahill losing his helmet on that one, and certainly taking a bump on the head.
Andrew Mallow, he's been around the British game a long time. He's a very steady defenseman for these Sheffield Steelers. If you like, probably one of the dominant offensive defensemen in the league as well. But he's very steady back there. Concentrates on his game, takes his time, makes the right play. And is he a good heads-up passer? Didn't we see that goal with Ken Priestley? Boy, his head out was up in that situation.
That goal of the game so far, I think Ken Priestley's the second goal for Sheffield. It's now 3-0 for the Steelers, who come away now. This is Jamie van der Horst. Hazelhurst puts his body between man and puck. Effective defence work there. This is Hazelhurst. Norman Pinnington, 27, coming away for Humberside. Has to check back under pressure from Scott Neal. Bruce Bell on his own blue line for Humberside Hawks. The loose stick round behind the net. Away to John Wolfe's right. Broken stick there, but Bruce Bell is the man in possession. Bob, if you were the Humberside coach, what would the approach be here? Have they got to raise their game or do something tactically different?
They've got to be very influential in their own defensive zone, but they've got to get some sort of an offensive attack mustered here, because they're 3 goals down and they need to get one to get back in it.
Well, they need to get one to get back in it, and to frighten Sheffield, it needs to be more than that. But it's the Steelers now, with Ron Shooter getting that big shot away. John Wolfe kicking it down to his captain, Mike Bishop. Bishop trying to mount an attack to get the Hawks from Humberside on their way. 23, Graham Garden. Derek Laxdal, who hasn't really lifted his game such as we're used to seeing from him so far. With Mike Bishop. Priestley trying to get the break going for Sheffield. Time on their side, the men from Yorkshire. Here comes Ken Priestley. This is Steve Nemeth. Great kick away from John Wolfe. Chance there, Tony Hand, only just off target. Comes back and another opportunity, but Humberside win that scramble, and away they come now. Failing to gain control and having to check back is Graham Garden. Rob Wilson in possession behind his own net for Sheffield. Skating away. Men will pile in now as Wilson checks back. Doesn't hit the shot as he should have done. Chris Imers has to into the danger, and here comes Bruce Bell on the break for Humberside. Loses control of the puck, though, surely at the vital time there. Eventually held up. Wilson whacking it round the boards. Cam Plant. Fired in by Bruce Bell, right round the boards. Can Chris Imers hold it in? Bringing it away, Tony Hand under control. Great chance here, this is going to be a one-on-one. Here's Steve Nemeth looking for his second of the game, and he gets it! Steve Nemeth for Sheffield scores goal number 4 for them. Goal number 2 for him. Sheffield are singing, the Yorkshire puddings are in the air. It's Humberside 0, Sheffield 4.
Just before this play occurred, I sat there and I watched Stevie Nemeth. He was hovering around that center ice area. He picks the puck up on the long pass, in alone on John Wolfe, and he finds the range.
Sheffield Steelers go.
Concentrates, heads up in the air. He put the puck in the hole where he wanted it to.
Steve Nemeth.
Here we go, all kinds of time. When you give a player with experience all kinds of time like this, boy, I'll tell you, a lot of pressure on the goalkeeper. Great goal.
What about the timing of the pass from Rob Wilson? Caught him in full stride.
He did. I mean, Stevie Nemeth just hovering around there, wasn't he? Unprotected. The last thing that Humberside want to do, though, is try and open this play up, because I'll tell you, Sheffield will be so dominant in that situation. They've got to try and maintain defense as well.
But now possibly the time, Bob, that Sheffield start looking towards tomorrow. Will they be tempted to take it easy so they don't wear themselves out for their final?
No, they'll keep on right on it chugging. They've got a lot of guys there on that bench. They'll be utilizing them all, and they will take nothing for granted. They're not there until it's finished.
Puck fired out. Here comes Nicky Chin, number 13. Another effort, John Wolfe, great catch there, and he's being a shade overworked, is Mr. Wolfe, and his restful night out at the Dogs will be coming back to him.
The old Wolf dog on the mask there. But like I said, the shots have been coming in. Nicky Chin just straddling that blue line, changing the flow of the play to allow Tim Cranston to get that shot on goal. That's a great play, isn't it? Because it forces the defense to go one way and make that lateral movement to come back the other way, opens up some space.
Well, John Wolfe there shaking his head. He knows that he's up against it here with Sheffield leading by 4-0, and we haven't been playing 5 minutes in the second period as yet. Ron Schuger, Scott Neal just missing out on that behind the net. Humberside trying to clear it, but Mike O'Connor keeping it in. Wolfe kicking that one away comfortably. 17 O'Connor. Chris Kelland here in his 18th Wembley appearance, now with his 3rd club. Knocked down there by Wayne Cowley. Well, the last Wembley shutout was 2 years ago, and that was by a Sheffield goaltender.
Well, we all know about Mr. Wayne Cowley. He has all the opportunity and the potential to gain a shutout, but if we were talking about that, he wouldn't be too pleased. That seems to be the omen, if there is anything. But a very solid netminder, and has come on very well in the clutch, key situations, into the stretch, into the playoffs, into this Wembley Championship.
Well, John Wolfe, of course, anything but a shutout for him. 4 goals have gone in his net here so far. Nearly a chance there for Barclay Pearce, just wide for Humberside, and Wayne Cowley pleased to see it go by.
Great job here by the Sheffield Steelers to make sure that the puck comes outside the blue line. Anytime it's coming around the perimeter of the barrier, What's happening is they're making sure they're just chipping it off, getting it outside the zone. What does that do? That forces the Humberside Hawks to come out of the zone, regroup, and go back in on the offensive threat.
As the puck's sending to run around that barrier almost like a motorcycle around a wall of death. It's whipping round there, isn't it? Ian Pound firing the puck in. This is Rob Wilson. Oh, a great mistake there by Wayne Cowley. A rare one, that one. Heads up there. And Steve Nemeth looking for another opportunity to complete his hat-trick. Humberside come away. Laxdal, 33. Trying to make space. Puck played out here. Cam Plant winning possession for Humberside, number 22. Flicking it in deep into the attacking zone. And somebody going in there a shade too quick, and the puck taken out there. Let's have a word with John Lawless, with Sheffield leading by 4-0. John, is it all dead?
No, I don't think so. I think, you know, what Humberside have to do, and they haven't done it effectively enough this game, is get the puck out of their end and get it into Sheffield's end. And maybe one of the ways is get one of their best puck handlers to take it, rather than maybe make a set play. Just let them take it and wheel it, dump it in, and start forechecking.
Thank you, John Lawless. Bruce Bell in possession, deep in his own defensive zone. Phil Huber to his right. Plays the puck forward, but Jamie van der Horst breaks it up in the neutral zone and fires the puck into the corner, where Nicky Chin is going to come round and win this one. Chance here for number 5. This is Nicky Chin. High and wide, and John Wolf stretching for that one. And here comes Chris Imers. Nobody with him, and that really is the story of the match so far. When Humberside get it out, there's a lack of support alongside them. This is Nicky Chin. Bruce Bell collects it for Humberside. Tries to find space, but Sheffield are getting back well. Darcy Cahill, though, with a trailer. Chris Imers gets the puck in. Chance here for Phil Huber, but great cover from David Longstaff, but he's going to get a penalty for that one. And we're going to get a power play to Humberside, and that maybe is just what they need to get back into the game.
Specialty team situations. Although David Longstaff has got a penalty, I still think that's a great play by him, because what has he done? He's got his man. He's taken him all the way back into his zone. He's not going to let him go. He's not going to let him get back into play. Make sure you pick your man up. His coaching staff will be very happy with that. There he is, all the way back into the zone. Don't let your guy go, because he'll get himself back into play and get a shot on goal, perhaps.
7 minutes into the second period. David Longstaff sitting out 2 minutes for holding. The power play the way of Humberside Hawks with a one-man advantage. Second power play of the game coming the way of Humberside. They didn't profit from the first. Can they make it better from the second? This is Cam Plant. Puck collected by Derek Laxdal, but in the end, it's Cam Plant that has to pile it deep into the Sheffield defensive zone. But there's Mike Bishop. This is Plant. Good cover there from O'Connor. Wilson having to work hard. Cam Plant keeping it in for Humberside. Great piece of stick work there by Steve Nemeth, who so far for me is certainly the man of the match, and a chance here for Priestley with the shot, but he didn't get much power behind that, and it was just wide anyway. Round Garden. Rob Wilson was just about to deliver a pretty hefty check on Bott. It appears he needed to be nifty to avoid that. So far, our official shot count shows that Humberside haven't actually landed a shot on goal at the other end, but here comes a chance for Tim Cranston. Great save by John Wolf there. Cranston sent the goaltender, or tried to send in the wrong way. John Wolf gets right, and he was there in the nick of time.
Anticipation so well in this situation. The puck coming free, and Tim Cranston getting that nice little pass, but John Wolf, does he stand on his head to make that save? Players coming from all over, but it's Tim Cranston. He's wide open there, in alone on John Wolf. Great save by Mr. Wolf.
The Wolfman cometh. Sheffield trying to win that face-off, but it's Phil Huber that gets it for Humberside with the man advantage on the power play. Just under 40 seconds remaining with this man advantage. Puck fired in by Camplon. Whacked out around the boards. Darcy Cahill fails to control it. Comes back to point, almost a chance there. Coming the way of Phil Huber, but Cowley was equal to it, just in the nick of time. This is Camplon. Slap shot there, knocked away. Against the plexiglass and cleared up the ice. Penalty counting down, just 8 seconds remaining.
A little more effectiveness by the Humberside Hawks on this power play. They're trying to get in front of Wayne Cowley, obstruct his view, get him off his game a little bit.
And there's the shot from Darcy Cahill, and great help coming the way of Wayne Cowley from Ken Priestley. And Humberside at the moment, no, it's not their night. They just managed one shot on goal during that power play, and that really isn't the material of stuff to score goals.
It's not. Sheffield defense doing a great job to try and get the puck out of the zone. In this particular situation, the puck comes to the slot. Darcy Cahill with that real big wrist shot of his, but Wayne Cowley comes up well just to get himself in front of that shot.
Face-off then deep in the Sheffield defensive zone, with Sheffield leading by 4 goals to 0. We have a view from behind Wayne Cowley. And certainly Wayne Cowley's supporters are enjoying it. Robbie Fowler lookalike in the front row. Cowley clearing it around the boards. Graham Garden guessing well. Barclay Pearce keeping it in. Rob Wilson with the clearance. This is Ron Shudra, Rocket Ron, sending his man one way and then the other, and Wolf is equal to that one. Good defensive cover, though, coming in from Ian Pound to help him out.
Some great moves there by Ron Shudra. He's a defenseman at heart, but boy, I'll tell you, he's tucking old Ian Pound there inside out. Plus, Ian Pound trying to cover him while he's skating forward. That's not an easy scenario for a defenseman. And Mr. Shudra just runs out of room, and John Wolf, great job just plugging up the front of that net and covering up.
Well, Wembley's seen some great ice hockey over the last 62 years or so, and this weekend, well, another special one for the great arena. Originally built as a swimming pool, Bob.
Is that right?
The Empire Games in 1922, I think it was.
Hear me.
Opened for ice hockey in 1934, and now we're playing here in 1996. Played back, that's Ian Pound. Clearing the danger. Pound wins that. Clears it round the boards. 16 is Barclay Pearce for Humberside. But collected there by Chris Kelland. Kelland at 38, I think the oldest player playing in the playoffs here this weekend.
He's a role-type player on this line with Ron Shudra and Scotty Neal, and they do a great job, don't they? They just give that little bit of extra time for the guys to rest up on the bench. They're very credible out there. Bump and grind style, make no mistakes.
Some good work there by Mike O'Connor, and I must say, Bob, today there's unsung defensemen at Sheffield. O'Connor on the one hand and big Rob Wilson on the other are a big influence this afternoon.
They're leaving nothing for chance. They're getting the puck out of the zone very well, so what does that allow Sheffield to do? To make that quick transition from defense to offense. That's why they're getting all these breaks, Tony.
Bruce Bell clearing the danger there, but a break in play. Many great events at Wembley, and what on earth is that? Page of the programme with Bob Carroll's picture on, I expect.
Probably be a few of those out there.
Alex Dampier will be a happy man as he looks up towards the clock there. Just over halfway through the game, and his team leading 4-0. Keith Milhench, well, he's not quite so happy. He came to power for the start of the playoffs. He's the one man in that bench area who hasn't got a beard. I think they'll all be having a shave tonight, Bob.
Well, as we say, she's not over till that final whistle, and Humberside must continue to keep moving forward. They've got to try and get a goal, get themselves on the scoreboard, get themselves back into this game.
Well, they've got to get back into the game, and they've got to lift it to close this gap. And Keith will be a busy man there trying to urge his team on. That's what the big scoreboard here in the arena says, and Humberside are only too well aware. Huber for Humberside, number 7. Flicked out there and they got a chase. Linesman waving that on as Chris Eimer goes in. The danger cleared by Van der Horst around the boards. Jamie Van der Horst, who played for Cardiff here in last year's playoffs. And there's another man who played for Cardiff, that's Nicky Chin, but the offside call as Chin collects that across 2 lines.
Nicky Chin, former Great Britain youth player, if you like. He was the young player of the year. When he was with the Cardiff Devils, he had an opportunity to go to the Calgary Flames camp in the National Hockey League. And boy, that improved his game immensely. He came back here, he's went from strength to strength. Shows a lot of experience, a lot of credentials, especially under pressure.
Well, those fans there for Sheffield, they're disregarding this as a dress rehearsal now, I think, for the real cheers tomorrow. Linesman sorting that out there, and that's Paul Staniforth, who's come onto the ice to replace the injured Alan Craig. And certainly, oh dear, and we got a Darcy Cahill doesn't like that as he lost his helmet, and both he and David Longstaff, and we're going to get a little bit of an altercation here. But both has lost their helmet. Darcy Cahill, David Longstaff takes a perler, and now the fists are flying. A touch of Wembley jitters.
Bit of a difficult one there. Mark Hazelhurst, the 3rd man in, taking a crack at Lobby Longstaff.
Well, Mark Hazelhurst, the referee spotted, and Mark Hazelhurst is away to the bench. He's certainly piled up a few penalties this year, has Mark Hazelhurst. David Longstaff is going to the bench for Sheffield.
Look at him line up for this draw. The puck comes up. Oh boy. A little bit of a cross check there. Those hurt a little bit. Come on back. Let's have a dance.
And the hats go bouncing. Oh, they're trying to work it out down in front of us. David Longstaff is in the box. Mark Hazelhurst is in the box. Well, unsportsmanlike conduct is the call against Mark Hazelhurst. David Longstaff has 2 minutes for high sticking and 2 minutes for roughing. Those are the calls at the moment.
2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct.
There's that tandem duo of Toole and Alex Dampier, and they work so well together. And that's a very, very distinct advantage for this Sheffield side, because it's happening so fast out there. You know, you need that little bit of extra effort.
Well, they've got to get themselves sorted out here, and certainly the referee there, Simon Kirkham, is explaining to Ken Priestley what the situation is. At the moment, Humberside have 4 out skaters. Sheffield have 4 out skaters, so there's going to be a bit of space on the ice. Humberside think they should have 5, and I think they're right, because you've got a 2+2 for David Longstaff, and we have a power play situation away of the Sheffield Steelers.
It's that extra 2-minute minor penalty to David Longstaff that puts the Humberside Hawks in the power play situation.
Humberside Hawks then with the power play. Puck fired around behind the net. The 3rd power play situation they've had this match. Can they pull that goal back?
Controversy with those nets coming off the moorings there. It just so often happens, especially when one team's in a situation where they've got a very good scoring opportunity. Funny enough how that happens.
Well, we've got Scott Neal now in the penalty box over here for Sheffield Steelers, and it's Humberside Hawks with the man advantage. Referee Simon Kirkham explaining that, of course, with David Longstaff with a 2+2, the man has to come back on the ice after 2 minutes, and that means that Scott Neal will be the man coming back onto the ice at the expiry of the first 2 minutes. Plant with the shot. Just under 1.5 minutes remaining on the power play. Steve Nemeth is going to forecheck there, but Mike Bishop's got to get his team going, and does. This is Cam Plant. Skating in front of him is Graham Garden. Cam Plant knocks it down. The fans are booing. Here's Derek Laxdale with a chance. Misses the puck completely when it counts, and Wayne Cowley's reaction with with Ken Priestley helping him out there. Well, that was quite important, and they're beginning to rise, these tempers, Bob.
They are. It's a bit of frustration perhaps setting in, certainly from the Humberside Hawks side. The power play situation allowing themselves not to settle.
Just over a minute remaining on that power play, and one has the feeling that perhaps this is the last chance for Humberside to get back in the game. And what a reaction save in the end that was by Wayne Cowley.
That was, just underneath him there, but he managed to catch on. You can see how happy he is there. He knew that that was going underneath him. Just falling down here. Not very often you see Wayne Cowley on his back either. There it is, just underneath him. They're able to hang on.
Face off then. One back to Cam Plant. Mike Bishop with a slap shot, knocked away by Cowley. That was a fine save, because he couldn't have seen that too cleanly. 50 seconds remaining on the power play. Darcy Cahill firing in the shot, taking the rebound down the boards, whacked up the ice. John Wolfe has to watch that as Tony Hand comes in, and he almost let the puck run loose there.
We're seeing fallout here, a very distinctive play by the Sheffield Steelers. That puck being banged off the barrier every time coming out of the zone, but boy, the anticipation of their forwards to pick those loose pucks up. As soon as it gets by that defenseman at the blue line, you've got two Sheffield Steelers breaking into the offensive zone. That's hurting the Humberside Hawks at the moment. They've got to have a man back in that key situation.
Face off though, deep in the Humberside, and they're almost reaction save from John Wolfe, because I don't think he expected to see that come in like that for the face-off. Cam Plant firing the puck deep into the Sheffield defensive zone, where it's whacked up the ice with a vengeance by Andre Marlowe. This is Darcy Cahill, the almost innocent victim a few moments ago, getting booed by the Sheffield fans. Just 6 seconds remaining on the power play. Here comes Sheffield. This is Tony Hand. Back on the ice comes Scott Neal with the expiry of the first 2-minute penalty to David Longstaff. Longstaff will remain in the box. Sheffield Steelers, though, are back to strength.
Sheffield doing a great job of killing the penalty, not allowing Humberside to settle in the offensive zone. In order to have a very credible power play, you've got to be able to get the puck deep in the zone, set it up, move the puck around. They try and key for players like Mike Bishop in that big slap shot of his, but Sheffield are nullifying those situations.
Well, in the crowd there, we saw some Durham and Nottingham fans, and of course they've got the action to come this evening when their two teams battle for what now appears the right to meet Sheffield, probably, barring a miracle, in tomorrow's final. Icing call here will take the puck deep into the Humberside defensive zone. And I know they prefer to see it the other end of the rink and create a goal chance, but Sheffield playing well.
They are. One of the things about a Wembley Championship, when you come in, you've got a game plan. And the other thing that you really want to try and do, especially if you're a coach, is you're trying to take that team off their game plan, aren't you? You want to play your game plan and not let the other team play theirs. That way you're going to have the distinct advantage.
Wayne Cowley drilling that out and playing like an extra defenseman there on that one. Derek Laxdale. This is Barclay Pearce, tries to get the shot away. Good cover by Rob Wilson, who's having a fine game at the back there for Sheffield. This is Ian Pound, 6 for Humberside. Good teamwork here. Wayne Cowley at the back. They're almost playing like an extra defenseman. This is Bruce Bell. Humberside trying to get going. The strength is there with Ian Pound. Barclay Pearce is going in, challenged by Rob Wilson. Cranston collects it. Out to Bell. Shot deflected away. In Pound, can he get a shot away? Does. It's a slap shot just wide. The rebound, Dents, it's into the net. There's the equaliser, and that was a great effort. David Standing, I think, getting the final touch there. In Pound putting in the original shot. And Humberside fans are having a chance to cheer. It's Humberside 1, Sheffield 4.
Constant pressure being applied, but guys left unmarked in the offensive zone. Rebounds coming off. Sheffield Steelers not getting on loose pucks. The shot from Pound from the point. Wayne Cowley down. Not very often we see that. There he is. He's just out of the play. Standing, getting that puck over top him.
Well, David Standing's second goal of the playoffs this year. And certainly one to lift the hearts, spirits and minds of Humberside Hawks. Wayne Cowley's going to have to come out. Jamie van der Horst it is that goes back to collect, and calm his side down with that puck behind his net. Van der Horst. This is Tony Hand. Humberside playing with renewed confidence. Bit of rough stuff down here to our right, and Norman Pinnington is having his say with Tony Hand, and that could be tactical. I could read Tony Hand's lips there. I don't think I could broadcast what he said. This is Priestley with the puck held up in the corner. And I know you talk about this, Bob, but basically Tony Hand is a man they'd like to see off the ice, and perhaps that's what Norman Pinnington was trying to do. Well,
Keith Milhench doing a little bit of tactical ploy there. He's playing his grinder line, if you like, of Pinnington and Mike Kindred there and Young Standing, and they're just working hard to try and nullify all this offensive talent of the Sheffield Steelers. Just hold them up, make sure you get in their face a little bit, and don't allow them any sort of room to move.
And while we had the break there, David Longstaff completed his second 2-minute penalty and trotted across to his team bench. Have a little sit down. Both teams now back to strength. This is Bruce Bell. Can he lift Humberside Hawks? Just over 4 minutes of this second period to go. They're 4-1 down. Kicked away by Wayne Cowley as far as Chris Kelland. Kelland clears the danger, but only up as far as the red line. 24 is Mark Hazelhurst. Barclay Pearce tries to get his team going. Hazelhurst delivers a big check there on the red line. And I don't think that Chris Kelland was too pleased with that one. Well, they could hardly have played the puck higher there if they'd been playing basketball in this arena. Well, there's a big crowd here at Wembley, as there always is for the playoffs. The famous arena is today holding 8,347 people for the first of these playoff semi-finals. They are young and old in this arena. He hasn't been here for many years, but there are some that have. They're happy. They must come from Sheffield.
They get involved in the game, and that's the greatest thing about it. You know, you can exert some energy when you come to a game of ice hockey.
Shot goes in from Rob Wilson, and I think John Wolfe was pleased to see that one go high and wide. That one's even higher and wide. It's right up into the gallery in front of the big scoreboard. Bloke's caught the puck, and he's not going to return that. He's going to keep that as a playoff souvenir. The cheerleaders.
I think they've got a tremendous amount of potential as well.
Mum and two daughters, I think, there. With the puck going high into the gallery, we have a face-off from the point at which it left the ice. And that's halfway inside the Humberside defensive zone. Brought clear by Huber. Gathers it at the second attempt. Cranston back to complete the cover for Sheffield. This is Camplon, and Mike Bishop fires it round the boards where Darcy Cahill is going to try and collect it. Eventually Nicky Chin picks up the loose puck. Neat sidestep there, but coming back to cover is Chris Imers. Huber and Cahill are going in as Wilson controls the puck behind his own net. This is Nicky Chin. Slap shot from Cranston, kicked away by Wolf. This is Darcy Cahill, 21 for Humberside, flipping the puck out. Read well by O'Connor, but Huber eventually fires the puck in with Chris Amers in front of him, and that wouldn't have counted.
This game probably losing a little bit of intensity at the moment. Humberside have got to try and pick this back up again. Sheffield have got to be careful that they don't go to sleep. Not that I'm saying that they will, but this game is far from over. And that next goal is going to be ever so very important.
Keith Milhench now a thoughtful man. He's a pharmaceutical engineer, and he want to get the chemistry right for that last period. Face-off just outside the Sheffield defensive zone, and David Standing, who scored that goal for Humberside, trying to encourage his teammates there to move in after it. This is Steve Nemeth having a fine afternoon here. 2 goals, great speed, great shot. This is Priestley. And that was an intended pass out the point for Jamie van der Horst, which has gone the entire length of the ice. Norman Pinnington. Somehow the clear, precise passing has deserted Humberside here this afternoon. And one could say credit to Sheffield for intercepting most of them. They're reading it well, and Alex Dampier clearly has a game plan.
Keith Milhench once again using that grinding line of Pennington, Standing, and Mikey Kindred to try and nullify all this offensive talent. But Priestley, Steve Nemeth, and Tony Hand doing a good job so far.
Bruce Bell at the back has talent for Humberside, and one feels that perhaps they might have to let him get forward more.
Oh, this guy, I'll tell you, he's got a tremendous pedigree. You know, he was on the all-rookie team when Mario Lemieux was a rookie in the National Hockey League.
Plenty of statistics from a Canadian backing another Canadian. And there's another one, Derek Laxdal. Taken into the boards by Rob Wilson, but good defensive work by O'Connor, but this is Camp Plant, but nobody's with him. Chance here, and Tim Cranston, he's fast, he's quick, and he's got a shot, and John Wolfe is equal to that one. Mickey Chin going in. Taken round the boards. Chin and Plant. A little bit of bumping and boring, as they say, against those boards there, and here comes Humberside. This is Barclay Pearce, 16. Wayne Cowley whacking it away. Derek Laxdal. Chance here on the far side, Graham Gant, but Mike O'Connor, he seems to have read every inch of the ice here at Wembley. This is Chris Imers. Bruce Bell, and a chance here. Darcy Cahill, 1, 2, 3, tic-tac-toe passing as you normally describe it, Bob, and that almost produced a second goal. This is Bruce Bell, who's going to collect that. Humberside going to tire. I think the spur of a chance of prolonging their Wembley stay tomorrow might be an encouragement. There we are, though, at the end of the second period. It looks as if Sheffield are in control by 4 goals to 1. It started with Cranston and Priestley's goal, with Sheffield in front by 2 goals to 0 at the start of the period. 2 great goals from Steve Nemeth, though, put Sheffield 4 in front. But then David Standing pulled one back for Humberside, and now all to play for in the final period. Sheffield seem in control. They lead by 4 goals to 1.
Well, both teams, I suppose, they want to get through to that final. The final period coming up now of this first semi-final with commentators Bob Correll and first Tony Millard.
Well, the Omens could go Humberside's way, because when they beat Sheffield 8-3 in the league, they got 3 of the goals without reply in the final period. If they could do that here at Wembley, then we go into overtime. I'm sure that at the moment Sheffield don't want that to happen, but that man is certainly happy. Happy Alex Dampier here, looking to take his team through tomorrow. And Keith Milhench in the other bench, well, he knows that he doesn't lack confidence. We certainly heard from him during the break there, and he is determined. He says his team have the spirit to pull it back. The referee is Simon Kirkham. The face-off is just about to take place, the third period of this first Wembley semi-final here in the Wembley Arena in front of over 8,300 fans. It's Humberside 1, Sheffield 4 at the moment as we go into the final 20 minutes of play. Bob? It's going to be difficult for Humberside, and as John Lawless was saying, if they go forward, well, they could open the gaps, and the likes of Steve Nemeth and Ken Priestley, well, they're there to take advantage, aren't they?
Unfortunately, that's the case. I mean, you know, any time that you want to try and go on the offense very dominantly, you're a bit susceptible at the back in your defense. So that's a concern. It's something Humberside are going to have to watch. But they need one early and get themselves back in.
And that mistake round behind his own net by Ian Powell almost cost to Humberside dear. And Priestley gathering possession, but here they come, Humberside Hawks. Fired back in by Rob Wilson as Mike Kindred tried to chase it. Kindred has to get back well there. Might have had a tripping penalty there as big Mike Bishop, I think it was, that took a perler. But the icing call will take the puck deep into the Humberside zone, and Wayne Cowley there, Alex Dampier, and the Sheffield Steelers certainly in a happy mood. I understand, Bob, there's a dispute about the use of the word Steelers, and it's got to the law courts now with Pittsburgh.
I'm uncertain of that scenario, but I can see the link there in terms of the Pittsburgh Steelers in the National Football League. Oh, well, it's a very credible franchise in this country, the Sheffield Steelers.
Well, I understand that Sheffield have already spent some £20,000 trying to protect that name here, and the Pittsburgh Steelers over in the States say that they have exclusive rights to Steelers. At the moment, though, it's Sheffield Steelers here in England, and they're in charge, 4-1. Derek Laxdale for Humberside with the puck. Makes a mistake there, but Barclay Pearce comes back to help him. Andre Marlowe, though, takes it down with his glove and fires the puck into the corner, where John Wolfe knocks it down to Derek Laxdale. Pass out here, Graham Garden has a chance here as the puck's deflected his way, and then only goes just wide of the post, and Laxdale fails to hold it in. Another chance for Graham Garden. This is David Longstaff, brought down, takes it into the net and goes down. And for the first time, these old Wembley goals come adrift.
Driving for the net, David Longstaff. He's had a very good game. He's worked very hard. He's picked his man up well. He knows that his role's changed since coming over to the Sheffield Steelers side, but he's responding very well to his new coaches, and they use him in key situations, and I think that, you know, he's gaining from this experience, and he's going to be really a key player in years to come.
I think John Wolfe, with that net turned round the wrong way round, might have been quite pleased to see it remain that way round for the rest of the period.
We used to do that one in practice. The only problem is you bounce it off the barrier and it goes into the empty net.
Face-off just outside the Humberside defensive zone. Puck forced back by Chris Imers to Mike Bishop. Phil Huber clearing it out of his defensive zone. Good forechecking from Ron Shudra, Sheffield captain. O'Connor across to clear that danger. Puck held up well. Chance here, there's Darcy Cahill. Can he create space? Cowley's equal to it in front of the net. The net comes adrift, and I think the referee has given the goal. No, he's shaking his head. That goal is disallowed by referee Simon Kirkham. Humberside thought they'd scored. Referee Simon Kirkham said the goal was adrift, and he's ruled out the goal, I think. No, he's going to tell us. Oh, he's given the goal. The goal counts to Darcy Cahill, and Humberside are back in the action. Darcy Cahill is awarded the goal. It went in, we think, before the goal came adrift.
There it is, Darcy Cahill, but they're driving for the net. Phil Huber just banging away there. The net coming adrift after the puck had crossed the goal line. We'll get a better look at it here. Look at the grind. Wayne Cowley just trying to stack everything up, but just managed to get underneath them.
Well, the final touch, no doubt, going to Phil Huber. And Darcy Cahill providing the assist. The rebound came back from Darcy Cahill's shot. Phil Huber tipped it in. For my money, the goal was slightly adrift before that puck went in, but referee Simon Kirkham gives it to Humberside, and this game is alive.
It certainly is. The thing is Humberside are now driving to the net. They're working blood and guts out there. They know that that's what they have to do if they're going to get themselves back into this game. Hey, we've got a barn burner on our hands if they get one more.
Well, there are 17 and a half minutes to go here. And 17 and a half minutes of frenetic action. The teams are going to change their lines frequently, I think, here to get the best out of them. And now there's all to play for Humberside Hawks. Can they produce the comeback of all times here at Wembley?
Well, like Keith Milhinch said between the breaks, they're believing in themselves, and that's the start of the battle. You've got to believe that you can do it.
Jamie van der Horst with the shot, knocked down by John Wolfe. Andre Marlowe providing the defensive cover for Sheffield. And eventually, Steve Nemeth going in there, but referee Simon Kirkham stopping play there for a marginal decision there. Let's have a look at that last goal, which Phil Huber slotted home in the end.
Well, you got to get into the Grafton territory if you're going to have any results, driving for the net. But he's taken a bit of a punishment there. He knows that he's got little or no time, but he manages to put it in underneath the sprawling Wayne Cowley.
They didn't move the net to match the puck, did they? Van der Horst for Sheffield. Clearing it up. Here comes Bruce. It was Bruce Bell forcing it out of the zone, but it's held up there by Norman Pennington. This is Tony Hand, firing the puck deep into the Humberside defensive zone. The spirit of the men from Humberside is lifted by that goal. Bruce Bell is going to go in. Wayne Cowley clears the danger. Good poke check from the Sheffield goaltender, right outside his zone. But this is Graham Garden. Two Sheffield men trip over each other. A shot goes in from Laxdale. And a lovely clearance of the rebound from Wayne Cowley. Killed it dead, but Bishop fires that back. Humberside are lifted.
They are. Wayne Cowley, as we say, he's a very good goaltender, but his biggest attribute is the fact that he doesn't give those rebounds away.
And nor there did John Wolfe, because the shot went in from David Longstaff and Tim Cranston was waiting for the rebound. John Wolfe called it stone dead and the goal went adrift again.
Well, that's so important in a goalkeeping tradition. You've got to make sure you hang on to that puck, especially if there's somebody at you. Any rebound, who's got that? Tim Cranston, and that puck will go in.
Just over 16 minutes of the game remaining. Sheffield leading 4-2, but remember they did lose for a lead 4-0, and Hawks have staged a comeback. Alex Dampier perhaps starting to get a little bit worried there at the Sheffield bench.
Well, his team is still up by 2 goals, and I think like in a championship game, that still is a significant lead, but this next goal, if it is to be, is going to be very crucial.
That's Phil Huber, score of the second, taking the puck in, but I think Darcy Cahill was in just too quickly, and we're going to get the offside decision with a face-off just outside the Sheffield defensive zone. Lots of activity on the Humberside bench, and that man there, Derek Laxdale, number 33, hasn't scored here today, and certainly virtually every game for Humberside, he has been banging them in thick and fast. He's already got 8 playoff goals this season.
Players' ice time being marked very, very closely. We just saw Paul Simpson there, the assistant coach of the Hawks, former defenseman with him for a number of years, but he's monitoring ice time there. He's wanting to make sure that the players are fresh out there. There you see it. He's got that stopwatch in his hand. It's ever so important.
Sheffield, though, staying cool on defence, but Steve Nemeth with 2 goals to his name, but that's Norman Pennington knocking it down to avoid possession for Tony Hand and regaining possession for Humberside. That's Mike Bishop. Priestley regaining possession for Sheffield. Tony Hand is 16. Steve Nemeth with him. Defensive cover is good there. Jamie van der Horst going round the boards. Mike Bishop clears the danger. Priestley firing it round the boards. Tony Hand is going to challenge Bruce Bell for that. But Bell, great stick handling there. The experienced defenseman brings it away. Norman Pennington fires it into the corner. Mike Kindred is going to chase this.
That's one thing about these great defensemen, eh? You see that? They get the puck over the red line. What happens to it? It goes deep in the zone. Let the forwards take over from there.
Humberside has stepped it up a gear. This is Barclay Pearce firing it into the corner. And I'm not quite sure, that must have been just his own side of the red line. I thought he'd crossed it well, but the linesman, the replacement linesman, Paul Staniforth, says no. And the face-off reverts deep to the Humberside defensive zone. Nearly 15 minutes still remaining. Alex Dampier there, looking up at the clock to assess what's going on. His team has conceded 2 goals since being 4 in front. hand plant in possession in front of his own net, having to double back under the challenge from Cranston. Rob Wilson is going to cut the danger out and take it round behind his own net, helped by Wayne Cowley, and does. This is Nicky Chin. David Longstaff, number 15 for Sheffield. Chin goes in, round behind the net. Kicked away by Wolf. Wilson is back on point. O'Connor gets it back here, but away comes Humberside. This is Barclay Pearce. Puck running loose. This is David Longstaff, but the offside call takes the puck out there. Well, we can now join Gia Milinovic, who's up in the crowd with a very interested spectator.
Actually, I'm just behind you, Tony. Hello, I'm in spitting distance of the commentators here. Now, I found an interesting spectator here, Paul Heavey, coach of the Cardiff Devils. Now, how difficult is it for you to be sitting in the stands and not down there in the bench?
It's very difficult. It really drives it home now. You're at Wembley, the atmosphere, the fans, and you're very, very disappointed that we're not playing, you know.
So, what do you think about today's game? How do you think it's going?
I think it's been fairly scrappy, you know. It's been pretty tight defensively. One or two good goals, the other goals have been scrappy, but you know, it's 4-2, and the next goal is going to be very crucial. If Sheffield get the next goal, I think the game's over. If Humberside get the next goal, it'll be a really good finish. Obviously, Humberside have to be very careful here. They're pushing forward, trying to get that next goal. They need to be careful they don't leave too many gaps at the back, because if they go another goal down, it's going to be really tough to get back in it.
So, do you have any predictions for the end of this weekend?
I think Durham will do a job. I fancy Durham. You know, I think they came together really well at the end of the season. We played them up there in 2 games, and I think it's Stephen Foster fit and Big Gissel fit. I think Durham might just surprise everybody.
All right, I'll let you get back to the game. Thanks for talking. Back to Tony and Bob.
You're welcome.
Well, yes, and we got a great save there from Wayne Cowley, who spotted that well, and Phil Hubert on the break for Humberside, coming desperately close to getting that 3rd goal, and that 3rd goal is going to be valuable. Wayne Cowley is the man to keep them out. Humberside Hawks 2, Sheffield Steelers 4. 13.5 minutes remaining, and all to play for here in this Wembley Arena. Nearly 8,500 spectators are enjoying it. Sheffield trying to clear the danger. This is Bruce Bell on point, but Tony Hand coming back well to cover. Andre Marlowe in possession on the blue line. Puck goes high. Norman Pinnington tries to hit it higher. Tony Hand wins possession and fires the puck into the corner, where Mark Hazelhurst, number 24 for Humberside, regains possession. Kindred flipped around the boards there. Chaos prevailing in the neutral zone there. And it's David Stanley that's trying to chase it, being challenged almost by the stick of Jamie van der Horst. This is Steve Nemeth. Humberside building, both in confidence and ability at the moment. This is Barclay Pearce. Bob, will there be a change in tactics here from Humberside, or do they just tend to force it in and chase?
I don't think so. It'll stay as it is now, Tony. I mean, it's working very well for them. They're using this line, as we said, of Standing and Norman Pinnington and Mikey Kindred, you know, and they're nullifying all that offensive ability of Tony Hand and his counterparts, you know, so that's working well. They're taking away that motiveness in the play.
And getting more into the match, and there goes the shot. Cowley can't control that rebound. Fortunately for him, Rob Wilson clears the danger. The Humberside fans are cheering away to our right because they have that feeling with nearly 12 minutes to go, and here comes Barclay Pearce. Pearce right round behind the net, tries to force it in on Cowley, and the referee can't see the puck, so he calls it dead to Simon Kirkham. Well, Keith Milhenge told us that Humberside would never give up, and certainly that's what's happening.
This is looking, he's got no room here, but the old wraparound. Wayne Cowley lucky to get around there because there's a little bit on the other side of the net that could have allowed that puck to go in.
With 11.5 minutes to go, Well, there's the Sheffield goalkeeping. That's Wayne Cowley with 21 shots and conceding 2 goals. 90.5 is a good defensive, a good shot-saving record. And there's another one of them to improve that record. But Humberside themselves are back in this game with a vengeance.
Hunger for the puck. They're working very hard. They're winning those loose puck battles, and they're getting the shot on goal, but they're going right after Mr. Cowley. They're trying to get in his road. They're obstructing him. They're trying to take him off his game. Look at all the action in front of him. There's somebody there all the time. They're keeping him on his toes. Any sort of rebounds, and we're going to have problems.
So, Phil Huber desperate to win this face-off. But Ron Shudra, the Sheffield captain, is equally keen. Knocked back. Phil Huber, who scored that second goal for Humberside. This is Darcy Cahill. There goes a shot off a post there, and Humberside came desperately close to getting number 3 with Phil Huber's shot going off the pipe. Bruce Bell fires it in, but 2 men, 3 men offside, so Sheffield are going to get possession here and do. Tim Cranston leads it for Ron Shudra. David Longstaff, 2-on-1 situation here, but Bruce Bell provides the cover. Mike Bishop can't control that one. Just under 11 minutes to go. Sheffield Steelers leading 4-2 in the first of these Wembley playoff semi-finals. But Humberside storming back. David Longstaff for Sheffield. Nicky Chin is with him. Good defensive work by Norman Pennington. Chin wins the puck back. And a little bit of rough stuff. Norman Pennington puts his fist in the face of David Longstaff. And David Longstaff's going to disappear to the team bench without any retaliation. He's learned his lesson.
Mr. Pennington, a rough, tough customer. Always tries to take his opposition off their game plan. But David Longstaff showing a lot of discipline here. He knows that his team cannot afford a penalty in this situation. Fair enough, he's going to bump and grind it out. A little bit of a pass there to his pal, Nicky Chin. But it's discipline that perseveres. I've got to get there. I've got to get back into my routine, back to the bench. No penalty calls.
Nicky Chin and Bruce Bell giving each other a hug there. No rough stuff with them today.
They all pair it off. You know, it's the old waltz. Good night, Vienna.
Let's hope it's not good night Wembley for Humberside Hawks at the moment. But there goes the slap shot, fired in from Mike O'Connor. Hits the plexiglass behind the goal. Steve Nemeth forcing back. This is Bruce Bell for Humberside. It's going to be an icing call here as Bell fires it right up the ice, but no, the referee waves it on, despite the linesman thinking that it should be called. This is Nemeth. Good tip-on, chance for Priestley here. One-on-one situation, great effort, and a goal for Sheffield. Ken Priestley makes it number 5. Is it all dead? Sheffield lead by 5 goals to 2. A one-on-one situation. The finish was clinical.
It is crucial when you're on the offense that you cannot neglect your defense, especially against these offensive threats. Great pass by Tony Hand to get it to Kenny Priestley. He goes in alone, shifts the shoulders there, catches John Wolfe going the other way and just shoves it down the short side. But a great play to come out of the zone. There's that little tip up of a pass. Tony Hand to put his man in alone. There's the shift. Thank you very much.
Well, Steve Nemeth has had a hand or a stick in 4 of the 5 goals, has certainly played his part here. He's still suffering a bit from the elbow injury he had at the start of the season. And almost there, another chance of goal number 6. John Wolfe having to save that in the second attempt. Referee loses sight of it as Humberside come away. Back to Steve Nemeth. 2 goals and 2 assists, Bob, and certainly at the moment riding high as a choice for man of the match.
Oh, he's had a great game. He's come up big for his club. But this is one of the things about the Steelers, isn't it? They've got so many great players, and they can rely on any one of them to be a game winner for them.
Well, with 5 goals to 2, they lead, and under 10 minutes remaining, Humberside Hawks now have to climb something like Mount Everest.
And that's a big mountain to climb, isn't it?
Looking at the roof of Wembley Arena here, it's almost as high. Keith Milhench on the bench for Humberside now. He's not going to stop motivating his team, but he'll begin to realise soon that it's very, very difficult.
Well, you know, the guys are a bit tired now. It's been a very long, hard physical game, you know, but they've got to keep going, and they're certainly not out of it. But that last goal was a very crucial goal for both sides, because it's changed the momentum now, and it's put it right back into Sheffield's court.
Humberside have to push forward. Keith Milhench said that in the break. John Lawless said it in the break, and of course the gap was created. But here is Derek Laxdal trying to get Barclay Pearce away, but good cover from Ron Shudra. This is Graham Garden. Laxdal fires the puck around the boards. Comes back to get the rebound. Graham Garden with the slap shot on target, though, kicked away. In goes another shot there. Harding in this time from Bruce Bell. And this is Tony Hand. Men going with him. Priestley's up front. Kellen's with him. Barclay Pearce kicks it out. Barclay Pearce, 16 on the puck. Back comes Jamie van der Horst. And the puck taken out of the defensive zone. I think that the linesman decided that that was a little bit of unfair play. And certainly Humberside are having their say there, because Graham Garden doesn't think that should have been the call. 8.5 minutes remaining, or just under. Sheffield leading 5 goals to 2. Face off then with 8.5 minutes to go, deep in the Humberside defensive zone. Sheffield win it back. Jamie van der Horst fires the puck around the boards, where Nicky Chin is going to chase it. Chin goes down. The bodies pile into our left. Bruce Bell comes away with the puck. This is Nicky Chin. Chance of another Sheffield goal, and that only just wide as Chin decides to send the goaltender the wrong way. Darcy Cahill bringing it away for Humberside. Van der Horst firing the puck in. Darcy Cahill, Bruce Bell taking the puck in and almost holding it down, and he won't like that call. Well, Gia's found somebody else pretty interesting, a fellow with a little bit of experience in goaltending, I believe.
I'm here this is Charlie Cologne from the Slough Jets. Sorry, the microphone wasn't working there. Now, you played with the Sheffield Steelers during the B&H second semi-final. So what do you think of this game today?
I tell you, this is a really good hockey game here. It's a tough defensive game. Both teams are actually coming behind the puck and then playing really hard hockey. It's actually superb. You know, I thought this was going to be a one-sided game, and it actually isn't. It's a good hockey game, and Sheffield doing a great job.
So any predictions for the end of the weekend?
Well, I think, you know, I got to go with the team that's out there with the black. You know, I got to go with Sheffield.
All right, thanks for talking.
Well, some people might recall that Charlie Colon actually played in goal for Sheffield in the Benson and Hedges semi-final, so we know full well that he's got an interest in this one. Here comes Humberside. Mike O'Connor is going to collect that, but eventually we're going to get the icing call and take the puck deep in the Humberside defensive zone. Time running out, 7 minutes to go. It needs a miracle to save Humberside here.
3 very big goals, and you know, like I say, Sheffield are going to do a good job, I'm sure. Defense will be the #1 criteria for the Steelers, especially going into the stretch. Keith Milhench is going to have to try and break something down. Quick goal, get themselves back into it, perhaps.
Well, the quick goal that they wanted, if only that last goal had come the way of Humberside Hawks, then we'd have had a different match on our hands. There's Camp Plant with the shot, takes a rebound off the boards up in the air. Graham Garden tries to knock it sideways. Great save. Derek Laxdal nets the rebound. In the end, it was Barclay Pearce's first shot. The rebound came back, and Derek Laxdal summed it up. Could a miracle happen? Humberside's third. Laxdal's 9th goal of the playoffs. It's Humberside 3, Sheffield 5.
Humberside having to work very hard for their opportunities, but they're still coming. Keeping the puck in the zone, banging away at it. But watch this one. How about eye coordination there for Derek Laxdal? He just bangs that out of the air there to put that behind Wayne Cowley, sprawling glove. Nothing there. There's that hand-eye coordination. You've got to admire these guys, don't you, to do that. I'll tell you, that's great natural talent to be able to knock the puck out of the air like that into the back of the net.
A baseball type of shot from Derek Laxdal. Were we writing Humberside off too quickly? It's 5-3 to Sheffield. Just under 7 minutes remaining, and here they come again. Big hit by Marlowe there, flooring Darcy Cahill. Chris Kellen, can he calm down Sheffield? Somebody's lost a glove and a stick. The stick lost by Tim Cranston, but this is Kellen in possession. Going round behind the net. The time is with Sheffield. Another face-off deep in the Humberside zone. 6 minutes just over remaining, and Steelers leading 5-0, and there's Chris Kellen.
He's still influential, isn't he? But when he gets a head of steam up, boy, he can get going. But there's a bit of a dirty shot there by Eimers from behind, and that could be a nasty one, especially if you go real hard into the barrier. That's what Chris Kellen was talking to Simon Kirkham about just after that.
Well, the referee didn't see that, probably with the goal net in the way, but there is Sheffield back at it. Andre Marlowe. Steve Nemeth is going to chase it in. Nemeth looking for his hat-trick. He and Priestley each have 2. This is Rob Wilson. Andre Marlowe had a great influence on defence and certainly provided a crucial pass for a crucial goal earlier on. This is Cam Plant, 22, Humberside. The Steelers fans are cheering, but here goes Derek Laxdal. Could this be goal number 4? Oh, a great chance, and Barclay Pearce didn't get on the end of that. Laxdal did all that could have been asked. The final pass to the edge of the crease, and just feet away from it. Ian Pound firing it in. They're not giving up here. Graham Garden and Derek Laxdal. Barclay Pearce away to the left. Big hit on Garden from Nemeth. Firing, yes, oh dear, just past the net. Wayne Cowley didn't even see that one as it went into the side netting. Humberside are playing inspired hockey for a few minutes.
Well, they know that their backs are up against the wall, and they just keep coming at them. But it's all kinds of action in front of Wayne Cowley there. That just hitting the side of the net, but coming back to rebound on him again. But you've got to get in front of this guy, because if he sees the puck, he's going to stop it. He's a great goalkeeper. And it's that traffic that seems to be given all kinds of problems to that Sheffield Steeler defense.
The coaching ability and tactical skills of Keith Milhenge will be tested. 5 minutes just over remaining, and 2 goals his team at least have to fall back to take the tie into overtime. You know, we've had a hockey match here this afternoon. Mike Bishop cutting out the danger, threatened by David Longstaff. Van der Horst back to save that one. Mike Bishop working hard for Humberside. If they lose this one, the threat of this being their last senior game with senior hockey threatened in the Humberside arena. Tim Cranston for Sheffield. Great save, instinctive there from John Wall. Beautiful work there from Phil Huber, sending Eimers away. Big hit on the boards there. We've got a penalty call here. And yes, it's Nicky Chin that's going to the box for tripping, and that creates a power play for the Humberside Hawks. And I think in a moment we might just get a timeout as they sort things out.
Well, this is something that the Sheffield Steelers coaching staff certainly won't be looking forward to, and that's another specialty team situation. Huber just making all kinds of moves there, and Nicky Chin just dragging that foot to trip him down. There it is. Blatantly just got around him there. And down goes Phil Huber, and of course, down goes the strength of the Sheffield Steelers, and the Humberside Hawks are on the power play. Let's watch these guys get the puck deep in his zone and key to that big Mike Bishop, that guy with that slap shot in the point there. You watch him key to him.
There's a well-known Yorkshire footballer called Norman Hunter used to tackle like that in his heyday. A power play, the way of Humberside Hawks. 4 minutes and 29 seconds, counting down, 27 seconds on the clock. The power play then, the way of Humberside Hawks. They need a goal. They could do with 2. This is Camplon. Mike Bishop firing the puck round the corner, round the net. Wayne Cowley getting a shade agitated there. No icing call here as Sheffield are short-handed. John Wolfe comes across to save the danger and fire it round behind his own net to Barclay Pearce.
Did you see that great play by Wayne Cowley there, stopping the puck behind the net, giving his defenseman a chance to gain possession and clear the zone? That's great goalkeeping.
Trying to do it again, though, not so successfully there as it comes out to Derek Laxdell. Chance here for Camplon. Oh, and just wide there for Humberside as Camplon sent Wayne Cowley the wrong way. Still they come forward, Humberside. Fired into the corner, Laxdell is in possession, flicks it out to the edge of the crease, and Barclay Pearce misses that one. Humberside, for a few moments, playing like men inspired. A minute remaining on the power play. Camplon putting his man in, Graham Garden. Phil Huber's round this side. Garden regains possession, tries to get it out to point where Bishop kicks it forward. Chance here for Graham Garden, charged down. Great work by Mike Bishop. Tony Hand fires the puck up the ice. Mike Bishop on the break, the captain for Humberside. Chance for Phil Huber, great shot, just off target. Just under 3 minutes remaining. 15 seconds on the power play, and it looks as if Sheffield are coming close to killing this penalty. Sheffield defending in depth and with strength. Nicky Chin waited to come back on the ice. 2-on-1 situation here. Another short-handed goal, and Tony Hand grabs goal number 6 for Sheffield, and now surely it's all over. Tony Hand with goal number 6, effectively a second short-handed goal of the game for Sheffield to make it Humberside 3, Sheffield 6.
This guy, he's a big game player, and he wipes the sweat from the brow of the Humberside Hawks. Has a look, lets that shot go. Boy, that's in the side corner, and he wouldn't have had a lot of room because John Wolfe was out of his net and did a great job on the angle. That's just sharp shooting from this guy. But that's why he's such a great player, because he comes up with those big goals when you need them. There's John Wolfe coming out. Look at that. He's got the angle cut there. There's no question about it. It's just a great shot.
Well, Tony Hand's been producing those, and this is his 81st game in playoff ice hockey, and he's marked it with a wonderful goal. Sheffield Steelers lead 6-3, and it was just at the time that the Hawks were getting back into the game, and if Barclay Pearce had got a touch on that goal, that shot at the other end from, or the cross from Derek Laxdell, well, it would have been 5-4 and a very different tale.
Well, I think it's fair to say that Humberside had their scoring opportunities, didn't they, Tony? You know, Wayne Cowley come up with some big saves, plugged the front of that net up, and Sheffield made sure that they cleared any danger out of there and just drifted the puck out of the defensive zone.
Well, Sheffield have showed their quality, because during this playoff series, both in the group matches and in this semi-final, they've scored 6 short-handed goals, and that's quality. John Wolfe clearing the danger. Here comes Norman Pennington. Van der Horst clearing the danger there. This is Nicky Chin for Sheffield. Could they grab number 7? Just under 2 minutes remaining. Nicky Chin gains possession. Longstaff is with him. Shots just wide. Sheffield now storming forward. Humberside tried. They battled, but they couldn't quite achieve it when it mattered. This is Ron Shudra. The veteran 38-year-old Chris Kelland in front of him. The Sheffield fans are clapping in time. They know that their team is set for a place in tomorrow's championship playoff final. Camplon firing the puck in for Humberside. Mike O'Connor firing it round the boards to clear the danger. Humberside won't give up. This is Tony Hand, though, for Sheffield. The trailer is Priestley. John Wolfe kicks that away despite being blinded by less than a minute to go. Cam Plant in possession. Barkley Pierce. Time for Ken Priestley. Time for Sheffield. They now know that they're through to the final. Their fans are clapping all round the arena. The banners are being waved. Big day for Sheffield tomorrow. This is Priestley chasing it. The icing call will take the puck back into the Sheffield defensive zone. And with just under half a minute remaining, Sheffield in control and now certainly set for a place in the final.
Well, they certainly have a stranglehold on this game now, and you have to admire the Humberside Hawks because I feel that they've worked very hard all afternoon. They've never given up. They've been there right till the final buzzer. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough for them on the day.
The city of Sheffield, the city of steel, is tonight the city of cheers. Cam Plant, Darcy Cahill battling. And here comes Nicky Chin on the break. Humberside getting back, battling for pride. But Chin is going all the way back into his own defensive zone. Less than 10 seconds remaining. Sheffield know it's going all their way. There are just 3 seconds remaining. That's the countdown. That's the end. And it's Sheffield Steelers who are through to the final. It all went their way in the first period with goals from Tim Cranston and Ken Priestley. That man, Alex Dampier, and his co-coach, Clyde Toole, are happy. 2 more goals came the way of the Sheffield Steelers in the second period. But then Humberside fought back. And at 5-3, they thought they had a chance. But for Sheffield, 2 goals from Priestley, 2 from man of the match, Steve Nemeth, goals apiece from Cranston and Hand. The goals coming the way of Humberside from Standing, from Huber and from Blackstall has given Sheffield victory. It ended Sheffield 6,